Ahmed. I'm a senior studying health science with emphasis in public health. And my mentor is Kelly Evans. He's a health science professor here on campus. And this semester I was able to do a sleep study here at BYU Idaho. And I covered the population of BYU Idaho, and I'll talk more about it as we go along. Okay, so a little fact about sleep. 36% of our lives are spent asleep. So if you live for 90 years, that's 32 years of your life. So that's a big chunk of your life spent on unconscious sleep. So is that a positive thing or a negative thing? Is it a waste of time or is it not? I have some quotes here by some famous people who talked about sleep. Thomas Edison said that sleep is a criminal waste of time inherited from our cave days. And it makes sense he would say that because he went on to invent the light bulb. Another person, Shakespeare, said, "Oh, gentle sleep, nature's soft nurse." So that's another outlook on sleep. It's more positive. I hope by the end of this presentation, if you don't already, you'll think that sleep is definitely a good use of your time, and hopefully you'll want to experience more sleep. Okay, so before I did the study on sleep, I was kind of thinking about the population, BYU Idaho students. What makes this special or different? It's known that college campuses around the United States, their students experience not enough sleep. But what makes BYU Idaho different? We have a curfew. Students have to go to, at least be in their apartments if they're single by midnight, or 1 o'clock in the morning if on Friday nights. That makes it different. Also, BYU Idaho students, 26% of our population are married, so that might affect how much sleep people get. Before I did the study, I figured out how many observations do I need. Here's some data about this current student population. There's about 17,000 daytime students, and that's the population that I decided to stick with because I didn't know exactly how to survey the online students who are in different places in the world. So with this, we have the sample size required for a 95% confidence interval, and the 5% margin of error was 375, and we had 420, which is pretty close to 375. Okay, so during the sleep study, I passed out a survey. This is a picture of a survey that someone filled out, and it measured a couple of variables, 6 variables. As you can see, the amount of sleep was measured. This is average sleep per night. They could circle a number. Some people circled a range of numbers, and we just took the middle number for that. Energy level, marital status, cumulative GPA, major, campus location. On campus, there are 16 major buildings. This is where classes are held. So we did about 25 surveys in each building. And also there was 9 surveys done in the health center. There's no classes there, but there were 9 surveys done there. The program I used to analyze the data was Excel. So here are the results and the relationships that I explored. So this is just a graph. It's a bell curve. It's been smooth. This is just showing the students and how many hours of sleep they get per night. And as you can see, the mean is at 6.63 hours. The lines are kind of hard to see with the light right above the screen, but those lines represent different standard deviations away from the mean. On the bottom, you can see some breakup. It's recommended that we get about 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. So if you can see, there's 70% of the students here are not within that, or almost not within that range of 7 to 9 hours. Okay, so this is showing the campus building based on how much sleep people got. I'm sorry you can't see it very clearly. But I thought this was significant because personally as a health science major, I don't spend all my time in the building that represents health science. I have to take chemistry, I have to take biology. I'm going to be on different places on campus. I even have to take some math classes like statistics, so I'll be in another building on campus. Also with minors, students might be seen in another building on campus. So this shows students based on location how much sleep they'll get. I thought it was significant that the Ice Center, where you can go to play basketball, work out, exercise, they have the highest amount of sleep. That was very interesting. And the Snow Building had the least amount of sleep. The Snow Building is for performing arts, music majors, mostly. And the trend line there shows the mean at 6.63 hours. Okay, so with all this data, there's tons of majors, emphasis represented. So I took only majors that had at least 10 observations and plotted how much sleep on average they received. So there's a difference about an hour and a half between the major on the lowest end and the major on the highest end. And we have child development getting the most sleep per major. And we have healthcare administration getting the least amount of sleep. I thought it was interesting because we all, usually think nursing students, mechanical engineering students, those are the people that are not going to get very much sleep. You can see on the graph where they lie. It's pretty interesting. Okay, so personally, I would think that if you're married versus single, you'll get more sleep. I don't know if you share the same belief, but I thought it would be interesting to compare this data. And the findings showed that you do get more sleep as a married student, but the amount is only 15 minutes. It's not as much as I expected. And I thought it was interesting, especially because of our high population of married students here. Okay, so this is a graph. All the dots represent an observation. There are 420. Some of them are overlapped, and they're not a bigger dot, they're the same size. And this shows GPA versus your sleep. And after I plotted this on the graph, I drew a trend line. That's the red dotted line that goes across to see if there's a relationship. And lo and behold, there's no relationship. It's a linear line. So at first I thought, well, I guess sleep and GPA doesn't matter. You can cram late at night, or you can plan out your sleep, your time, and you can still get the same GPA. But to further look into this, we took just the most successful students, classified by GPA of having a 3.75 or 4 to 4.0 GPA. And so that's just those students that have that, and this is how much sleep they have. And there's a positive linear correlation here, indicating at least a slight amount of the more sleep you have, the better GPA you'll receive. So I thought this was very interesting and significant, especially for students here at BYU Idaho. Okay, so another variable that we measured was energy level. It's kind of ambiguous. Are you drained? Are you fully charged? Low, medium, or high, medium? Those are the options. But this is this is the breakup of students. You can see that the two little slivers, the purple one is drained. Oh no, it's fully charged, sorry. And the blue is drained. So there's not very many students in this category. For the smaller purple category, there's about 16, 17 students in there. But most of the students pick, low, medium, or high, medium, which makes sense. Usually you go with the middle, one of the middle answers. Okay, so here's energy level for sleep based on the categories, took the average of them. And I think this is interesting. Oh, sorry, this is GPA versus energy level. This is interesting. So for people in the drain category, like who would we classify in the drain category? These are people who, they stay up all night, all-nighters getting their homework done or what have you. Their GPA on average is about 3.53. The next category, there's a low medium. It's 3.43. And you kind of go up by 0.1 of a GPA point as you go up to high, medium, fully charged. This is going to be part of the most significant part of the research coming up. Okay, so here is energy level versus hours of sleep. And I think this is super significant because of the linear relationship we have. The trend line is drawn, and the slope is about 0.65, which is roughly 40 minutes of sleep. So what that shows is if you're drained, in order to move up to the next category, you only need an extra 40 minutes of sleep. So if you want to move up to another category of energy level, increase your sleep by 40 minutes. Now, why this is so significant, if you look back on the GPA versus energy level, you can see that with 40 minutes of extra sleep, you can increase to the next category. If you're in low medium, you would want to go up to the high medium, get the higher GPA, and the fully charged. Okay, so a little discussion. I don't know how accurate the GPA was. You ask someone, can you write down your GPA? Are they going to write down their truthfully GPA if they have a bad GPA, or maybe they don't remember it? So I thought that is something to consider when thinking about these results. Another thing is 26% of the students here are married, but out of my results, I got 40% of them were married. So did my surveys accurately represent the population of Idaho? According to that, maybe not. Additional factors, as I was giving the survey, people told me, why don't you write how many children people have? That determines how much sleep I get. Why don't you ask employment, number of jobs, how many credits I'm taking, you're in school. These are all parts of things that people told me that you should look more into this. And I think if I was going to do this again, I would add some more variables onto the survey. So conclusion is, yeah, sleep is very important. BYU Idaho is no exception. We need more sleep, and it can academically improve your GPA. For the future, I hope that with this data we can have a program on campus to help out people who want to get more sleep. And as well, I hope that more studies like this can be done in this population so we can understand more how the health is with the students here, and with that, have more programs to improve the health of UA episodes.